1 Edward 1029, copy, threatening traffic.
Copy, moving route.
Edward 1029, if you could please respond to 2020 McNeil Street, Lakeview.
Copy. If you still have room on, get the ATO information first.
Welcome to Shooting Straight with Brad and Casey. I'm Brad Carlyon, the Navajo County Attorney, and Sheriff Clark can't join us this month, but he sent his Chief Deputy Jim Molesta to join us.
Thank you, Brad.
Jim, you've known our guest for a number of years. Why don't you go ahead and do the introduction?
Brad, this is Shelley Mowry with the Arizona Drug Prevention Prescription Drug Program. And Shelley and I have been acquainted some 20 years, going back to my previous career. And a great resource person. To have somebody with this talent here in Navajo County helping out our community is a tremendous asset.
And what's the newest initiative that you're working with us here in Navajo County?
So the newest initiative is focusing specifically on prescription drug misuse and abuse prevention. And so it's a 5-strategy initiative that really utilizes the entire community. It has a physician and healthcare component. It has a prevention component for parents. It has, and kids as well. It also has a law enforcement component and also treatment and assessment. So it really is an initiative, much like back with methamphetamine, whenever methamphetamine was big and we had that county and community effort to reduce methamphetamine that was so successful. This is much like that in that model, in that we're really taking the community to solve the problem.
But how big is the problem?
What do we know about prescription drug abuse in Navajo County?
There was enough prescription medication to treat every adult in Navajo County around the clock for 2 weeks. That's a lot of medication.
That is a lot of medication. Then I heard it's either 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 kids will misuse or abuse narcotic drugs.
Yeah, about 1 out of 5 in Navajo County has misused a prescription medication. And one of the things that we work on specifically is that, you know, a lot of times kids will think, oh, it's a medication. It's prescribed by a doctor. It's not something like methamphetamine where it's made in a questionable lab. You know, this is something that's safe and effective. If
Given to you by a doctor.
It's given to you by a doctor.
You.
Exactly. So they have that perception of safety. So what this is about is really making people aware that, you know, misusing a prescription drug can be just as addictive, dangerous, and deadly as using a street drug, just like heroin.
And isn't many of these prescription drugs a form of heroin in essence?
Yeah, when you take a look at the opiate medications and you take a look at heroin, when you sort of take a look at the molecular structure, they're really sisters. You know, Oxycontin, oxycodone are really synthetics of heroin. So they're very closely related. And, you know, there was some brand new research out that showed 80% of heroin addicts say they started off misusing a prescription medication.
Easier to get.
It's easier to get, yeah, but then it becomes too expensive and you're using around the clock. One of the things that happens with prescription drugs is if you start using and taking it, once you stop, you don't feel good. You get very sick.
You physically get addicted to it, don't you?
You do. You
Much
physically
like
get
alcohol.
addicted. Exactly. And so, you know, they're withdrawing, they ache, they feel horrible. And a lot of times family members will say, well, just quit. You know, you feel a lot better. That's not the case with prescription drugs. This is a really difficult one. Once somebody gets dependent and tolerant on that medication, it's very difficult to stop.
From what you've talked about with the problem, not only in Navajo County, but across the nation, it seems to be closing in on an epidemic status, but yet it's so under the radar. It
is under the radar. In fact, you know, a lot of parents don't even have it on their radar screen whenever it comes to talking to their kids about drugs. You know, they may talk about marijuana, or they may talk about alcohol, but prescription drugs really isn't on the radar. We have to create in Navajo County the sense of urgency, that the time is now, that we are losing too many kids. 46 people every day die
So
from prescription drug
how are
overdose.
these kids getting this?
Well, they get it right out of the medicine cabinet. About every, I call it actually the friends and family plan. You know, they're either getting it from their friends or they're getting it from the family medicine cabinet.
Literally going right in the medicine cabinet and helping themselves to whatever's there.
And that's frightening, right? Because then it's anything. The other thing we have to take a look at is the kids are also not just using the prescription drugs, but they're drinking alcohol with it. So you've got a serious, deadly combination here of misusing a prescription medication and then combining that with alcohol.
So you talked about 5 steps in this initiative, and it sounded like education was one of them.
Yes, key.
So how are you going about to educate, besides showing up on KCMI show, to bring to light or shine light on this problem that's plaguing our community?
Well, we want to talk to everybody that will listen to us, and thank you for having me on the show. It's a great way to get the word out, as we begin this initiative and this campaign. But we've got to have open doors, and actually the doors have been pretty open. People understand, especially some of the groups that we're working with, healthcare, law enforcement. You guys understand that this is an issue in the community. But now we have to reach out to make sure that that everyone understands. And how do we do that? So we're reaching out through the schools. We're reaching out through the hospital. We're reaching out through the treatment providers. We're reaching out to as many places as we can to let them know, number one, this is an issue, but we can do something about it to prevent it.
What about the medical community itself, doctors and pharmacists? Is there a role for them to play in this program?
There absolutely is a role for them to play. Arizona has something called the Controlled Substance Prescription Monitoring Program. And what that is, that's a way for a doctor to go in and check, is this patient coming into my office, have they received medications from other doctors or other pharmacies? So they can go in and check that record. So if somebody's like doctor shopping, which means they go from doctor to doctor to doctor to get pain medication, they can check that to see if somebody's been doctor shopping. And the reason why that's important is, that person is addicted, right, if they're doctor shopping, or they're selling them on the street to other people who are addicted. And we don't want that diversion either. So the doctors and healthcare providers are key to helping us cut back on that diversion and also helping get those addicted, truly addicted, into treatment.
And how new is this program, and how well has it been received and utilized within the medical community?
Do they use it anyplace else?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, there are prescription drug monitoring programs specifically for healthcare providers in 49 states. The only state that doesn't have one is Missouri. And so when we take a look at what's happened in Arizona with this initiative, in the pilot counties, what we see is healthcare providers, their input increasing. You see them using the database more. You see number of pills prescribed reduced. You see number of prescriptions reduced. And you see, the most important part is, you see the number of outliers, or those doctors prescribing much higher numbers of medication than their peers, go way down. And that's key to making.
So there's a little peer pressure going on there.
There's a little bit of peer pressure, but what we know is that availability equals access. If you've got a lot of medication in the community, that creates increased access for kids, family, friends. Because it may not be your kids. It may be somebody, it may be your neighbor who happens to come and say, hey, can I use your bathroom every time they come to your house? Oh, I got to really go. Can I, you're like, wow, why do they always use my bathroom when they come into my house?
So they literally will go in your house and go in your medicine cabinet and shop from that point on?
They will. And it's people that you don't even realize. I've had so many people tell me stories where they've had a holiday party at their house, for instance, and they've had a prescription medication in their medicine cabinet, and they go in after the party and all the pills are gone.
You talked about pilot programs and successes other places. Where has this been rolled out previously? So
this specific initiative has been rolled out in Graham County, Greenlee County, in Yavapai County, and Pinal County. It's currently now starting in Mojave County, and now in Navajo County and Mojave County. So what we've seen to date, the best statistic I can report to you right now, because we're still waiting for all the numbers, is that the data is showing that when this initiative is implemented in the community with all 5 strategies, the number of people dying from opiate-related overdoses or prescription drug-related overdoses decreased 30%.
Wow.
In those counties, in those pilot counties versus the other counties that did not participate, those numbers actually ticked up. In the counties that participated in this initiative that we're rolling out here, there actually has been people who have saved their lives. So
literally 30%.
30%.
So I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize that death is often a consequence of the abuse of prescription drugs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What happens is that people will take too much of the medication, and if they combine it with alcohol, it basically stops your respiratory system to the point of stopping. I mean, it slows it down, you stop breathing, and you die.
Where did the genesis of this prescription drug abuse start? Has it been around for a while and we just haven't either paid attention or ignored it?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of history. I think that pain was underreported for some time. I think there were a number of people that said, you're not treating pain. Doctors were told they weren't treating pain adequately, that people were suffering in pain when there were good pain medications out there. But then what happened is the pendulum switched. I mean, it just swayed the other way. There were new pain relievers coming out on the market. For instance, there's a popular prescription drug called OxyContin that came out on the market, and it was really meant to be prescribed to cancer patients, and so that they wouldn't get that breakthrough pain. It was an extended pain reliever, a good medicine for a condition for somebody that had that cancer. But then it was starting to be treated for all these other ailments. People were getting OxyContin for broken bones, for pulled teeth, for many conditions that weren't meant for what it was meant to be designed for, sort of that long-acting, long-term release medication. And so what happened, and the other thing too that the company got sued for, was that there was some misrepresentation by the pharmaceutical reps, where they were telling doctors that it was not as addictive as it actually was, and so they were fined for doing that. So you had that pendulum swing the other way, where now sort of pain became that, what do they call it, the fifth vital sign, right? Where people now believe that they should have a pain-free life, and that's just simply not the case. That there's going to be pain that we're going to have to endure, and a pill necessarily isn't going to fix that.
Aren't we seeing a combination of some of these drugs too being developed and more widely prescribed, like a combination of hydrocodone and oxycodone, hydromorphone or something like that? That cocktail's got to be extremely dangerous.
Well, they call that the Holy Trinity, because you mix those benzodiazepines in there, the Xanax, the Valium, and that's the prescription for death, when you've got sort of those drugs being prescribed. And that's why the prescription drug monitoring program is so important. Somebody may be going to a psychiatrist and getting all types of anti-anxiety medications, then they may be going to a doctor for pain relief, and those doctors don't know what the other one's prescribing unless they check that database. And then they can see that, hey, we've got a dangerous combination going here with these prescription drugs.
The patient is taking both medications, not knowing that that's
right.
That's a cocktail for death.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow.
Besides education, what other parts of the initiative are you going to be rolling out in Navajo County? So
with the education part comes proper storage and disposal. One of the things that there are 3 permanent prescription drug drop boxes in Navajo County currently. The sheriff's office is going to have 5 additional new boxes. And so what that is, we're encouraging people to clean out their medicine cabinet, because a lot of people have that unused or expired or old medication just sitting in the medicine cabinet. So now we're going to have drop-off locations all across Navajo County where people can go and drop off their medications at these permanent prescription drug drop boxes. So we want people to clean out their medicine cabinets.
We should mention, isn't there drop boxes already in Show Low Police Department and Pine Top Lakeside?
Yes, and Snowflake Taylor.
Okay.
So there are 3 already, and then there are 5 more coming. So yes, we want to encourage people to clean out that medicine cabinet. We also want to encourage people to encourage their doctor to sign up for the prescription drug monitoring program, but we're going to ask the hospital to implement emergency department guidelines and also dispensing guidelines at the pharmacy. So we like our pharmacists and healthcare providers to take a part in this initiative as well. The other thing what we have to do is, as this initiative, we've seen this in the other counties, we're going to have people that need treatment. We're going to have people that need help.
Absolutely.
And what are we going to do for them? Because it would not be wise for us to implement the initiative and not have treatment for those who truly need help. So we have to figure that part out.
That's one of the weaknesses in Navajo County. We don't have a lot of drug treatment programs.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look at that. We're going to have to take a look at what resources do we have. The resources that we do have, if people aren't accessing them, why not? What are the barriers to get them to treatment? Is it transportation? Is it location? So we have to. It's a complicated issue, but we have to begin the conversation, because we know that once the doctors start getting involved, once the healthcare providers, once parents have more education, and the word gets out there, we're going to have people seeking treatment. So we need to be able to address that.
You talked about shopping at your medicine cabinet at home. Is there a way that people can protect their medicines better, so when the friends and families drop by, they don't disappear?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a couple of different things. Do you guys have any idea where most Americans keep their medications? Where do you think they keep them?
Medicine cabinet?
Under
the sink?
I keep mine in the kitchen.
In the kitchen,
So
that's it.
I probably shouldn't have announced that for people coming over, but they're in the kitchen
Yeah.
somewhere.
That's right. Well, you're like most Americans. Most Americans do keep their prescription drugs in the kitchen because you take it with a glass of water or a cup of coffee or whatever that is. So, so that's what we want to change. We want to make sure that we treat our medications just like we did underneath the sink when people had toddlers, right? You want to lock them up. There are prescription drug lock boxes. There are locking caps. There are all sorts of ways that people can lock up their medications.
So this would be a box that goes inside that kitchen cabinet or that medicine cabinet
That's
that
right.
locks separately?
Yes, it would lock separately. And the best case scenario is to make sure that it's secured in there, that it's not portable. Some people have gone out to, and purchased safes. Well, we just had a case in Pinal County where the person went in, stole the safe, took it down the block, opened
Pried
it
it
up and
open.
took all the medication. So you really want something that adheres or that stays in the medicine cabinet. And so so we don't want people storing them on the medicine on the nightstand by the bed. And we've got a lot of education with grandparents in our senior community because a lot of grandparents are taking care of grandkids. Yeah. And when you take a look at the numbers of kids, every 8 minutes a child is treated in the emergency department from a poisoning from prescription drugs. And so, if you've got grandparents, how do we put it up and out of sight so that the kids don't have access to it?
Are these lock boxes generally accessible for people to buy somewhere?
Oh yeah, you can buy them online. There are, the one that I'm most familiar with, there's a box, it's called RX Armory, and it fits inside the medicine cabinet. It has a key and a combination lock, and it adheres with two-sided tape. It takes about 15 seconds to insert it into your medicine cabinet, lock it up, and people can purchase it, online. We're working on sort of the retail side, but not yet.
On this education, it sounds like we have to do both the parents or grandparents and the kids. Which comes first, educating the parents or educating the kids, or is it just something you do simultaneously?
With this initiative, we're trying to do, they would say you can't do it all, right? But really this initiative, we want to roll out everything together. We want to have all the wheels spinning. We don't have time to wait. So we'll go and speak to parents and senior and kids. And, again, we'd really like the public to be involved. If there are people in the community that would like to volunteer or be a part of this initiative, if they have a heart for speaking to seniors or going to a senior living community or a hospice and helping us get the word out, the more people we have involved, the better.
Absolutely.
So how do they contact you if they want to get involved?
Well, we're working on that. Right now, we just have our key stakeholders. So we've only had 3 meetings, so it's just in the beginning.
Well, who's part of that stakeholders group that you mentioned? What elements have you brought together to get this out and to get it into the community? Right,
so we have the health department, the Navajo County Health Department. We have sheriffs and county attorneys. We have Shola Police Department, Snowflake Taylor Police, Lakeside, Pine Top Lakeside PD. We've got Community Bridges, which is treatment. We've got NARBA, which is the Regional Behavioral Health Authority for Navajo County. We also have the Veterans Clinic here in town. We also have, I'm just thinking of who was around the table. We have the community counseling was at the table and Summit Healthcare. We also have a retired pharmacist who's involved. So we need a lot of different people, and they all brought great ideas today. But we're going to need additional folks to help us get the word out. We're going to do a training for the community in October, on October 29th.
So is that something that you're going to publicize so those who may be interested will then be able to have a way to contact you and maybe come to that training or future trainings? Yeah,
we definitely like to. We're trying to work right now through existing social media channels, for instance, through Facebook pages like at the county or sheriff's office. And so because we don't want to create something anew if you already have the channel and already reaching a number of people. So that's what we'd like, is if we could have partners like post information about the training and getting responses and getting a number for people to call if they'd like to RSVP to attend that training. That's what we'd like to do.
And you had, what other things are you rolling out? And it seems like October is really the jump start for this initiative.
Is there a reason why?
Well, October is National Prescription Drug Abuse Awareness Month, and so that was one of the reasons why we picked October. And really, like I said, we honestly can't wait. If there were 46 dolphins washing up on the shore of California every single day,
it'd be an issue.
Our country would be outraged. We lose 46 people every day to prescription drug abuse, and we can't wait.
Excellent.
And she mentioned that you got 5 new drop boxes. Where are they going to go, Jim?
We did. We have 5 new drop boxes where people can bring their either used medication, unused medication to discard. And right now we have plans to put one in the Winslow Police Department, the main station in Holbrook for the Sheriff's Office. We're looking at the Heber Overguard Fire District Office. And we're looking in the McNary area of the White Mountain Apache Indian Reservation, and then a spot up north that we're trying to determine right now. But we're looking for a good geographic spread on getting those boxes out, where we'll be responsible for collecting them, and it'll serve pretty much the entire regional area.
Are there any limitations on what type of drugs or medications can be put in those drop boxes?
They don't like syrups or anything with a syrup kind of any liquids. Sharpies are not something that we take. Inhalers or anything with some kind of propellant that's under pressure is not something we could take. And you know the rules better than I.
Yeah, but any of the pills, any of the pills people can take. And I think, why don't you talk a little bit about, I think people are concerned about like their identity too.
Good point. So these are like a secured mailbox, maybe on steroids, because the locks are a little bit better. So when those medications go in there, they go right into the holding container. The holding container is dumped by one of our property specialists, and then it goes to our burn site. So that container is incinerated along with any information that's on it. We don't dump the containers. We don't handle them at all. So there is a level of security that people should feel when they dump those in there, that their privacy is ensured.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So in October, besides the training, is there any other major initiatives that you're undertaking under this program?
Well, we're going to be working throughout the month on the hospital side too. We're going to try to, one of the things that's going to happen is that physicians, anybody that's registered, has a DEA registrant number to dispense medication, can get a report card. And basically what that, and actually Arizona, that's only Arizona's piece that was developed here in Arizona. What the report card shows is it takes your prescribing habits for controlled substances and it compares you against your peers. And so it shows you, are you in line with prescribing with your peers, or are you out of line? And so it is not, right now, it is not being, there's no, I mean, it's not like the DEA or anything looks at it. This is simply sort of a look at this report card for you to take a look at to see where your prescribing habits are.
Compared to your colleagues.
Compared to your colleagues. Now, there may be a reason. Maybe someone is right next to an oncology doctor and they see a lot of cancer patients, so they prescribe a lot more medications. So it's not, we're not really pointing fingers. It's just more to give that physician an idea of, oh my gosh, wow, okay, well, I'm right about average. Looks like I'm average with my peers, or oh my, I'm really under, or I'm way over.
Well, Shelley, we're really excited about what you're bringing to Navajo County. I think the community will be excited once they realize the extent of the problem and what we can do to address it. And Jim, I understand that you have a most wanted for the month?
We do.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Well, for this month, our most wanted person we're looking for is a gentleman named Benjamin Blanchard. Mr. Blanchard is 5'4", 140 pounds, blue eyes, brown hair, about 32 years of age, and he currently has 3 felony warrants for his arrest, multiple drug violations with a bond of $10,000. Anybody with information on Mr. Blanchard can contact WeTip at 1-800-78-CRIME, that's C-R-I-M-E. We're offering a cash reward.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on Shooting Straight with Brad and Casey, and we look forward to visiting with you again next month.